Hello guys, welcome back to FC Sean Predicts. Today we're going to be predicting Premier League match week 28. But before we do that, I just want to quickly go over our Premier League week 27 predictions results and see how good or bad we did. So as you can see, we hit 7 out of 10 possible tips. Our first match is Brighton were hosting Bournemouth. Our tip was Brighton double chance combined with both teams to score. Odds 2.0 and the actual result was 2-1 for Brighton. Besides the tip, we also predicted the correct winner in this match that Brighton is going to win. The odds for that was also 2.0. And the following match, Crystal Palace were hosting Aston Villa. Our tip was both teams to score combined was under 5.5 goals, meaning 5 or less goals in the game. Odds 1.90 and the actual result was 4-1. So we hit that tip. And we also predicted the correct winner that Crystal Palace is going to win. And the odds for that was 2.30. So we hit our tip and the correct winner. The following match, Chelsea were hosting Southampton. Our tip was Chelsea to win, combined was under 4.5 goals, meaning 4 or less goals in the game. Odds 1.90. And the actual result was 4-0. So we were right on the spot there. So we hit that tip as well. And the following match, Brentford were hosting Everton. Our tip was Everton double chance combined with both teams to score with the juicy odds of 3.0 and the actual result was 1-1. And the following match, Manchester United were hosting Ipswich. Our tip was both teams to score with the odds of 1.77 and the actual result was 3-2. So we hit that tip as well. And the following match, Liverpool were hosting Newcastle. Our tip was Liverpool to win, combined was under 5.5 goals with the odds of 1.75. And the actual result was 2-0 for Liverpool. So we hit that tip as well. And the following match, West Ham were hosting Leicester. Our tip was West Ham to win, combined was under 4.5 goals, meaning 4 or less goals in the game, with the odds of 2.05. And the actual result was 2-0. So we hit that correct tip, and also we predicted the correct score for that game as well. And the last 3 you can see which ones we missed, but we hit 7 out of 10. I think we did a pretty good job with 7 tips hitting out of 10 possible. But always keep in mind that the tips are never guaranteed, so play responsibly. And now let's get to our game week 28 predictions. Without a further ado, let's go. First match of the week, Nottingham will be hosting Manchester City. What a game this is gonna be. This is literally a battle for a third place, which Nottingham Forest is currently holding. Nottingham Forest, after impressing the world, are having a bad run currently, with 3 losses, 1 draw, and only 1 win in their last 5 EPL matches. While Manchester City seem like they're waking up, with 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5. Nottingham Forest drew in their last outing against Arsenal at home. The game ended 0-0. I don't know if it was good defending from Nottingham or Arsenal didn't have anyone to score goals. But if you look at the stats, then Nottingham had 2 shots on target versus Arsenal's 1. In reverse fixture, Manchester City were able to beat Nottingham at home 3-0. And last season when City visited Forest, that game also ended 2-0 for City. And Manchester City's last EPL game was against Tottenham. And they won that away match 1-0 and brought all 3 points home. So I'm thinking about different aspects of this game. Considering that Manchester City are very well rested and there's no more Champions League for them, I think they should be able to get their 3 points in this game. My score prediction for this match is 0-1 for Manchester City. And my tip is Manchester City to win, odds 1.90. On to the next one. Brighton will be hosting Fulham, 8th against the 9th. Only 1 point separating these 2 teams. Both had 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5 EPL matches. Brighton's home form is not too bad with 5 wins, 6 draws and only 2 losses in their last 13 home games. Both teams had an FA Cup match a few days ago. Brighton were able to defeat Newcastle 2-1, where Danny Welbeck scored a winner in the second added extra time. Whereas Fulham visited Old Trafford and drew that game 1-1 and kicked Manchester United out of the FA Cup after the penalty shootout. So it's really difficult to separate these 2 teams right now. The reverse fixture ended 3-1 for Fulham. And the last season when Fulham visited Brighton, the team settled for a point. That game concluded with a 1-1 draw. That draw at 3.50 looks really tempting. My score prediction for this game is 1-1 draw. And my tip is Brighton double chance combined with both teams to score at 2.10. On to the next one. Crystal Palace will be hosting Ipswich, 12th against the 18th. Crystal Palace had 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5, whereas Ipswich Town had 4 losses and 1 draw. Crystal Palace defeated Aston Villa at home just like we predicted, whereas Ipswich Town put up a good fight against Manchester United at Old Trafford and lost the game 3-2. Both teams had an FA Cup match a few days ago. Crystal Palace were able to defeat Millwall 3-1, whereas Ipswich Town lost to Nottingham Forest in the penalty shootouts and got kicked out of the FA Cup. In reverse fixture, Crystal Palace were able to win 1-0. And the interesting fact is, the last 4 matches between these two teams were won by Crystal Palace. And to be honest, I don't see Ipswich getting anything out of this game. But I hope they'll prove me wrong and get at least a point out of this game. But my score prediction for this match is 2-0 for Crystal Palace. And my tip is Crystal Palace to win, combined with over 1.5 goals, meaning 2 or more goals in the game, odds 1.75. Or if you want something slightly better, then considering Ipswich Town scored in their last 7 matches in all competitions, then both teams to score for this game is 1.87. On to the next one. Liverpool will be hosting Southampton, first against the last 20th. Something tells me that Arne Slot will rotate some of the players for this game because the Reds have to face PSG before and after this game. And shockingly, Liverpool had 1 shot versus PSG's 27 shots, and they actually won that game in Paris 1-0. They took their single shot against PSG's 24 and just scored the goal. It is what it is. And for the second leg against PSG at Anfield, it should be much easier, but still I don't see why Arne Slot wouldn't rest some of the players just in case, because Arsenal is not catching up anyway, so they can afford to rotate some of the players. In reverse fixture between these two teams, Liverpool won 3-2, where Mo Salah had to score a penalty in the 82nd minute and bring the win home. And these two teams had to face each other in the EFL Cup match back in December, where the game ended 2-1 for Liverpool as well. My score prediction for this game is 3-1 for Liverpool. And my tip is Liverpool to win, combined with under 4.5 goals, meaning 4 or less goals in the game, odds 1.83. Or something slightly better would be both teams to score, odds 1.90. On to the next one. Brentford will be hosting Aston Villa, 11th against the 10th. I remember recently Aston Villa being in the top 5, but now they're here. But to be fair, they're only 4 points away from the top 5. Villa had to visit Club Brugge in the Champions League game where they won 3-1 in that away match. And after this game, Aston Villa have to face Club Brugge again at Villa Park. But it wasn't an easy match against Club Brugge. They put up everything they got, so they may be a little exhausted coming to this game. In reverse fixture between these two teams, Aston Villa won 3-1. And the previous season when Villa visited Brentford, that game ended 2-1 for Aston Villa as well. In their previous EPL matches, Aston Villa lost to Crystal Palace 4-1 in an away match, and Brentford drew against Everton 1-1 at home. I believe Aston Villa will be too concentrated on the Champions League match, and I see Brentford possibly using that opportunity. Despite Brentford not playing too well at home lately, I'm still gonna back them in this game. My score prediction for this match is 1-0 for Brentford. And my tip is Brentford double chance combined with under 4.5 goals, meaning 4 or less goals in the game, odds 1.78. Or if you believe it's going to be even less goals in this game, then Brentford double chance combined with under 3.5 goals, odds 2.15. On to the next one. Wolves will be hosting Everton, 17th against the 16th. Both are fighting the relegation zone. However, Everton, after appointing David Moyes as their head coach, have changed things real quick for them. And looking at their away records, they've won 2, drew 2, and lost only 1 in their last 5 away games. Wolves from the other side got kicked out by Bournemouth in their FA Cup match, and they also lost their previous EPL home game against Fulham 2-1. Everton from the other side drew against Liverpool, defeated Crystal Palace, and drew against Manchester United and Brentford in their most recent games. In reverse fixture between these two back in December, Everton were able to beat Wolves 4-0, but the last time Everton visited Wolves, that game ended 3-0 for the home team, Wolves. So both are desperately trying to get away from that relegation zone and would definitely prefer 3 points, but I believe that they wouldn't mind to land a point in this game. So my score prediction for this match is 1-1 draw, and my tip is both teams to score at 1.90. On to the next one, Chelsea hosting Leicester, 5th against the 19th. Chelsea were able to defeat the last place Southampton 4-0 at home and actually got back into the top 5 again, only 1 point away from the 4th placed Manchester City. Leicester from the other side lost all of their 3 last EPL matches and also got kicked out from the FA Cup match against Manchester United, which ended 2-1 for United. In reverse fixture back in November, Chelsea were able to get the win 2-1, and the last time Leicester visited Stamford Bridge, that game ended 4-2 for the Blues. Chelsea has to visit Denmark for a midweek Conference League game against Copenhagen, but I still believe this Chelsea is going to be too strong for Leicester. Leicester still has a chance to get away from that relegation zone. They're 5 points away from the 17th placed Wolves, but I don't think they're going to land any points in this one though. I believe Chelsea has to get their 3 points at home. My score prediction for this match is 2-0 for Chelsea, and my tip is Chelsea to win, combined was under 4.5 goals, meaning 4 or less goals in the game, odds 1.75. On to the next one, Tottenham will be hosting Bournemouth, 13th against the 7th. 10 points are separating these two teams. Tottenham lost their last home game against Manchester City 0-1, whereas Bournemouth, just like we predicted, lost against Brighton 2-1 in that away match. Quick reminder that Tottenham have to visit the Netherlands for that Europa League match against 𝗗𝗟𝗦𝗏, which may somehow affect their performance in this game. In reverse fixture, Bournemouth were able to defeat Tottenham 1-0 at home, but the last season when Bournemouth visited Tottenham, that game ended 3-1 for the home team, Spurs. Both teams have identical records in their last 5 matches in all competitions, 2 wins and 3 losses. Spurs are super inconsistent at home with only 1 win, 3 losses and 1 draw, whereas Bournemouth recorded 2 wins, 2 draws and 1 loss in their last 5 away matches. I'm really struggling to pick a winner in this one. I see that Spurs are slowly recovering. I can go for a draw in this one, but I'm not going to be surprised if Bournemouth gets a win in this one. My score prediction for this game is 2-2 draw, and my tip is Bournemouth's double chance combined was under 5.5 goals, meaning 5 or less goals in the game, odds 1.80. On to the next one, Manchester United will be hosting Arsenal, 14th against the 2nd. Manchester United got kicked out from the FA Cup match against Fulham in the penalty shootout, and I think that's better for them. They can concentrate in the EPL right now and improve their position in the league. In their last EPL outing, they finally were able to get a win against Ipswich Town 3-2. Arsenal from the other side drew their most recent EPL match against Nottingham 0-0, and most of us were looking at their injury list and thinking that they don't have the scoring power. And I feel like Arsenal players took it personally, and when they visited PSV for the Champions League game, they beat the hosts 7-1, and by doing that, they set the new record, scoring 7 goals in an away match in the knockout stages of the Champions League, which was never done before. And with that being said, I think Arsenal wouldn't have to worry about the second leg against PSV and concentrate on this match against United instead. But a quick reminder that Arsenal were kicked out from the FA Cup match back in January, where Manchester United defeated them in the penalty shootouts, and the Gunners are definitely coming to Old Trafford for that revenge. In reverse fixture, Arsenal were able to get the win at home 1-0, and the last time the Gunners visited Old Trafford, they also won that game. So my score prediction for this match is 0-1 for Arsenal, and my tip is Arsenal to win, odds 1.77. On to the next one, last match of the week, West Ham will be hosting Newcastle, 15th against the 6th. Both teams have only 2 wins in their last 5 EPL matches. West Ham were able to defeat Arsenal and Leicester in their last 2 outings. And the last season when Newcastle visited West Ham, they decided to settle for a point which ended 2-2 draw. And also important to note that Newcastle got kicked out from the FA Cup match against Brighton, which they lost 2-1 at home. Back to this game. This game is expected to be entertaining, and I'm expecting a few goals as well. West Ham's recent win against Arsenal really impressed me, and I really don't want to go against them, especially considering their home advantage. So my score prediction for this match is 1-1 draw, and my tip is both teams to score, combined was under 5.5 goals, odds 1.80. Or if you think there's going to be less than 4 goals, then both teams to score combined was under 4.5 goals, odds 2.15. That's all guys, that was Premier League Match Week 28 predictions. Leave your comments and predictions in the comment section. I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Put thumbs up if you liked the video and also subscribe so you're not going to miss our next releases. And bye for now.